Hi there and welcome to giZmoZ and gadgetZ. This is the second of a 3-video series that we're doing to help people with their purchase of both two of our MP3 players. The first is this 4th generation 8GB MP3 player that comes with a case, earphones and a USB cable, able to hold around 4,000 songs. And the second one is a 5th generation which comes with all the same features, apart from this one. On the rear also has a camera for both videos and stills. So they're both, well, this one's $13.49, the first one at $12.99. If you haven't seen it, the first video was how to get existing music from your PC across to the MP3 player. Today's video is going to be how to get an audio CD from the CD, again, onto the MP3 player. And the third, should you need it, is if you try and copy across an incompatible audio file, how to convert that over to MP3 so that you can watch it or listen to it when you're out and about. So that's what we're doing today. The first video used a mix of iTunes as well as Windows Explorer, which we'll find down, or File Explorer, which we'll find down here, and we'll be doing pretty much the same today. So within iTunes, I am in the music field, which shows sort of all of our various albums that I've got. We can again search by songs, and what I'm going to do is just put the CD into my CD drive, and whilst that's beginning to load up, you'll hear the CD loading, and as soon as it has loaded up, it will pop up with an option to automatically import this CD, which is what's happened here. So would you like to import the CD into your iTunes library? For the sake of this, I'm going to say no on here. You can ask it not to do it again. Before you actually ask it to do that, either automatically or by using this button up here, you do need to change a few of your settings around. So we're going to click on this option here, Preferences. On the General tab, it will take you to Automatically, Import Settings, and you need to make sure this is set to MP3 encoder. You don't need to do this once. If you haven't done it before, it will be set to AAC. And MP3 is just so that the file is going to be universally recognised on pretty much everywhere, and that includes the MP3 player that you've purchased. You can then change the quality of the audio. The better the quality, the larger the file will be, the less music files you'll be able to put onto the MP3 player, and also the longer it would take to convert the CD over. I'm typically happy with that. There is another option down here that puts a few extra processes in place to make sure that it's done correctly. Most of the time you won't need to use that, so I'm certainly going to skip that today. So the one we're going to click on is Advanced. And we've got two sections here. This directory is where the CD, once it's imported or converted to MP3, where it's going to be stored on your PC. You can change that if you wish to by clicking on this button here and finding a new destination. The other bit that I've got selected is Keep iTunes Media Folder Organized. So what that means is that iTunes will automatically put any imported CDs that I do into correct folders by artists, by their album name, by track names, and all those types of things, so I don't have to worry about it. You can turn it off and keep it organised yourself if you wish. The other bit I didn't mention under General here is automatically retrieve CD track names from the internet. So what you'll notice, because I've inserted this CD, it's automatically come up with all of the track names, it's got the artist, and it's got the album name, and it's automatically categorised it by genre. You can, of course, do this manually yourself, something I don't see much of the point to, and if you wanted to do it yourself, you would just untick that. If you leave it ticked, you'll find the vast majority of CDs will do this automatically. So I'm going to leave that set to OK. If you haven't said yes to that first message that popped up when we put the CD into the CD drive, you would click on Import CD, and what that will begin to do is convert all of these files from their CD quality and CD file type across to MP3. Just to show you the quick difference, if you go into File Explorer down here, we've got the audio CD, and we can see they are all named CDA file. That certainly won't be recognised on the MP3 player. We have had a few people that have tried to move the audio file across. It will go across absolutely fine and successfully, but that will not play on the MP3 player. It's very similar to putting your CD into a VHS tape machine. It's not going to work, so I'm going to remove that off of my MP3 player. If you don't understand what I'm doing by moving this dragon around, please have a look at our first video, as it will explain this in much greater detail. So we're going back to iTunes. So if you click on the import CD, it will start that process and take a little bit of time for each song to go through. Once it's done that, we can then go to music. This is something that I did earlier on, and we've got the CD here with those 10 various artists. If we then want to move these across to the MP3, we can simply click and drag. Let's give it a moment. This is one of the larger audio tracks, about 10 minutes long, and you can see there we've got CD4, it's automatically labelled it for us. We've got track 1, and then we've got Yinhang for bank, and it's, as you can see, is MP3 format and the file size. So if I unplug my MP3 player, I walk away, that song will be on there, I can press play, and all of this information will show up on there, as well as the artist and the album name, which we can't see on this particular field. So that is how to get a CD across to your MP3 player. Hopefully you agree it's a rather simple process and takes very little time. Once you have done this, you'll then have that MP3 player permanently on your PC as well. So should you want to listen to it on your PC rather than the MP3 player, you can of course do that. And because we had that option ticked within iTunes to automatically organise my music, you will see that we've got the album here on my PC. So even if I unplug the various MP3 players I've got down here, you'll see them disappear, I've still got all of my tracks on there. So once again, this has been a video from giZmoZ and gadgetZ. Hopefully you've found that useful. Like I say, if you are having trouble playing any different types of audio file and you need to convert into MP3, do have a look at our third video. If you've liked the video, please do like it, and you will also find links directly below to both of these items to be found on Amazon.